right, let's get back to New Zealand and the controversial Treaty Principles Bill. You've brought forward its introduction. Why?
Well, I don't actually think we have. I mean, you've got to remember Parliament and government at any given time is chaos. There's people that have bills ready, people that are trying to get things introduced. Sometimes stuff's ready early and you go early. Sometimes it takes longer than you thought. That's just the way that it goes every day. The only reason that this is different is that the Waitangi Tribunal months ago asked us for a date. So we gave them a date that seemed reasonable. And as it turns out, we're ready to go sooner than that. So we were then required to inform them that we've changed the date. And so we did that. And people are trying to make it out to be some sort of enormous conspiracy. And I think in
when did
ways,
you tell the Waitangi Tribunal it was being moved forward, a week or so? When did you tell them that?
Well, we were required by law, because they're a standing commission of inquiry, we have to tell them things that they ask. And so we told them at 4:00 on Tuesday.
And now, were you trying to keep that secret?
No, I mean, we're not really trying to keep it a secret. It's just I've got to try and get across to you that this is not information that normally anyone would care that much about.
No.
It's only because of this, I guess, almost demand that the Waitangi Tribunal has a real-time
So you
update
told them
of everything
4:00 Tuesday, and you hadn't made a public announcement or put out a press release about that, and suddenly journalists knew about it. Is that right?
Well, that is also true. Within an hour, we had journalists from the press gallery ringing up saying, we've been told that, and that information was with them.
And the only people you were told had been the Waitangi Tribunal people?
Yeah, so there's some speculation about how the information got to the journalists.
Well, haven't you
Obviously,
accused them of leaking it?
Well, it's possible that it was actually leaked by the lawyers or the claimants who had claims in with the tribunal, who were told because they were part of the action. So it may not have technically been the Waitangi Tribunal telling the journalists directly. It may have been some third party that they told. Nonetheless, the result is they demand respect, they demand information, they want everyone to play an honourable role in public affairs, and yet when we give them information that we haven't publicly announced ourselves, it finds its way to the media within about 2 hours.
And that has prompted them to bring forward their report, right, or their, I don't know, self-started inquiry into the Treaty Principles Bill, because they're not allowed to put out a report on a piece of legislation that's actually already gone before the House, right?
That's right.
Okay, can I ask you then, did you bring forward the introduction of this bill to stop the Waitangi Tribunal issuing its report, which it did, yesterday or day before?
No, I can tell you, it didn't even occur to me that might be the case. It really is as simple as this is how Parliament works. And normally, at any given time, right now, there's probably a few ministers who thought they'd get a bill in earlier, that it's now going to be later, and a few who thought it would be later, it's now going to be earlier, because things change. You get political agreement, you get policy work done, you get legal drafting done faster or slower than you'd previously expected. And yet none of that will become news, because none of it is being almost live streamed by the Waitangi Tribunal in real time.
Okay. You also know that the mainstream media, who don't like this bill and call it controversial, are going to say you've brought it forward because it's convenient for Luxon, who doesn't want to engage on this issue, to be away at APEC for the reading today.
Yeah, a couple of things. Number one, there's no reading today. I just want to make that clear. I think there may be some people
gets tabled today, right?
There may be some people who think there's going to be a big debate in Parliament today. There's not. That will happen in a future time. That hasn't been decided just yet. But what we do know is that today at 2:00, the Treaty Principles Bill will be introduced. That means that the ushers will come out and put a copy on the table. It will also, of course, in the modern age, go on the website. and people will be able to see the Treaty Principles Bill, the actual text for the first time. So all these people who have got all of these opinions about it, might have to think about.
Have the Waitangi Tribunal seen
this
it?
With fresh eyes.
Is the report they produced this week that says it's basically a recipe for the end of civilization as we know it? It's going to disproportionately disadvantage Maori and put them in a bad position. Have they actually seen the bill?
No, I can only imagine that they'll be working off that they may have, but if they had, they could only have seen it in the last few days. I can only imagine that they are working off the cabinet papers, which gave a summary of what the bill would say, not the actual wording of the bill. But look, you look at what the Waitangi Tribunal is saying, for example, they're saying Maori aren't included. Well, actually, you know what? Maori are included. There are 7 Maori in our cabinet. Any person in New Zealand of any background will be able to make submissions to the Select Committee on the bill if they would like to. The Parliament that will debate it is disproportionately Maori in terms of its representation, more than 20%. So this idea that Maori haven't been involved, what it really shows is that when they think about Maori, they're thinking about an elite tribal structure being involved, not Maori as people, not all New Zealanders as people being involved. And that's what I think has made them so upset, is that the Treaty Principles Bill is a project in democratising the treaty, saying, yes, it's an important document. It's actually, if you read it, quite a good document. It says we all have equal rights, and we're going to let everyone have a say about that. That's what really upsets them. And even the people who believe that it will only go to the first reading because National and New Zealand First won't support it any further, you'd have to ask them if it's not going to last, then why are they so worried about it? They're so worried about it because we're going to let everyone have a say on something that normally they have a monopoly on, that normally they would say, you don't deserve an opinion, you're wrong, you're not an expert, you're racist, you're this, you're that. Well, actually, we're going to let everybody have a say because everyone has to live with the consequences of decisions about our constitutional future.
David, would it not also be true that the report that says to alter or redefine the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi would be bad for Maori or disadvantage them is in itself a tacit admission that the current very undemocratic way that the principles are interpreted, reinterpreted, reintroduced does give Maori special privileges or special rights, or certain Maori, elite Maori rights over other citizens in New Zealand? Isn't that in itself saying, as the principles are currently being used, we are creating a society that gives people special privileges?
Well, I think they probably believe that is the kind of society we should live in, and I think a big part of this debate and the purpose of it is that I'm very happy for people to come out and make the argument, no, I really am special by birth. I have a special role in the society, different from yours because my ancestors were different from yours. If people want to come out and make that argument, I think they should. I think we deserve to know that is how some people think about the world, because it's a bad idea. It's never been a good idea to think that some people should have different rights based on their birth. And I think once people start saying it out in the open, New Zealanders from all backgrounds are going to overwhelmingly say, well, I just disagree with that. We want equal rights.